Our guest is the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Nyesom Wike, and we shall be engaging him on issues relating to the Constitution Amendment, the Electoral Act 2022, the internal affairs of the PDP, and the 2023 general elections. Governor Nyesom Wike is a lawyer who, before his election as a governor, was the Minister of State for Education under the Goodluck Jonathan administration. Governor Wike took over from Rotimi Amechi of the APC at the time. After the 2015 election, he got a re-election in 2019. He's the governor of the oil-rich River State in Nigeria's South-South region. Governor Nyesom Wike joins us from Port Harcourt in River State. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Let's begin the conversation with the big one. As a legal practitioner and also a governor, you are a major stakeholder, no doubt. And so let's get your view, first and foremost, in what may concern you, because you are you're someone who has spoken so much about the local government. With the judgment on Order 10 that came by, and some of the criticism always come about the governors and the manner in which they administer the local government areas. What is your view on the amendment to the autonomy or the structure or the manner in which our local government is being structured under the present constitution, and what the National Assembly is working on to fix?
Well, Seun, thank you very much. And let me clearly state here, I was a former chairman of local government. And then I was the national president of Association of Local Governments. And so what borders, what affects local government affects me. And so for me, what is important is to, I have to follow the provisions of the Constitution. And if you look at what the Constitution is, and we must tell ourselves the truth of the matter is that we are told we are operating a federal system. And if we are operating a federal system, it means we have the federal government, we have the state government. I mean, there are three tiers of government: the federal, the state, and the local government. And when you see the provisions of the law, there are no clear definition of the independence of local governments. But let the truth be told. Let the truth be told. Because some of us believe that if we are part of the true federal system or true federalism, the local government must be autonomous. Local government, a lot of people look at it as just financial autonomy. No, it goes beyond that. I'm proud to say, since my inception as governor from 2015 to now, I have never one day, and I want to challenge anybody, ask about the funds that come to local government. I've never, and I learned this from our mentor, Dr. Peter Odili. When he was the governor of the state from 1999 to 2007, I was the chairman of council then. Dr. Odili had never one day said, look, the fund of local government, he should preside over it. And contrary to that, he will say, look, what are your problems? I'm ready to support you. And so that has been the case. For me, it's not whether we must, if we want to change the constitution, then let us change the constitution. But if we are operating a true federalism and a federal system, It requires that there are three tiers of government. And that three tiers of government is the federal government, state and local government. And they must get the autonomy. And so as the federal government is suffocating the states, I will not advocate where the state will suffocate the local government. So that is the truth of the matter. So that's my position.
For those who are of the opinion, that one of the reasons why the local governments have not thrived in Nigeria is because of the influence and the overbearing nature of some governors on the affairs of the local government. They made the local government more or less tied to their apron. So, I mean, this is an indictment on that tier of government. It's an indictment on the grassroots government, the closest to the people of Nigeria. In your own view, what best way can we get the local government to be fully autonomous or fully independent so that they can perform their duties?
Well, you see, that's where we talk about, do we want to practice true federalism? Do we want to practice true federal system? If we want to do so, what we are practicing to do, we are not practicing a true federal system. What we are having is a federal system, ensuring the constitution, but a unitary system. I believe that the local government must be autonomous. And the only way you can solve this problem is that funds allocated or meant for local government should go to them directly. I mean, what's my business? What's my business? Because what is that? If a local government campaigns and says, if you elect me as a chairman of local government, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And so, if you don't have that opportunity, he cannot do that. So, funds that's coming for local government should go to them directly. I will not be somebody that will sabotage, I will do anything against the local government system. Because I benefited from it under a governor of Dr. Peter Odley, and I cannot be a governor today and then begin to say local government should not get their funds in order to run the affairs of their various councils. I will not do that. I will do that. And so, I don't know why we are afraid. People are afraid of their shadows. It doesn't make sense. If we don't want to operate a federal system, let us not operate a federal system.
Well, I mean, so how best do you think that we could go about it? So, constitutionally speaking or legally speaking, when you say that we've not been operating a true federal system, how can we fix that?
I said here clearly, we say that there is a federal system. So, if that is the case, we borrow this thing from United States of America. And as a federal system, we have three tiers of government. The federal government, the state government, and the local government. So you must embed in the Constitution the autonomy of local governments as it is today. The Constitution does not provide for the autonomy of local government. But the truth of the matter too is that on a proper federal system, as it is operated in America, it is the state that will talk about the creation of local governments or councils, as the case may be. Look at the federal system. You have the functions, take for example, of the federal police. You have the federal of the state police. And you also have the same thing as the council police. So we cannot do it, we cannot do half and half. If we say, look, let us do federal system of government, let us do totally, not halfway. So my suggestion is that we should allow a federal system and we must allow it to be protected fully as the way the federal system is supposed to be operated. Not to take this way.
I mean, in this sense, apologies to cut in, Governor.
No.
Are you of the opinion also, as a lawyer, of those who believe that the 1999 Constitution is not the best document that is not the best that Nigeria deserve, and for those who are of the school of thought that we need to overhaul it, it doesn't reflect the will of the Nigerian people. There is a 2014 confab right there that is gathering dust, and those who are of the opinion that before our nation can move forward, we need to remove the 1999 Constitution. But if we do so, what then are we going to replace it with? Are you of those school of thought? And if you are, how then can we replace it, legally speaking?
What are we talking about that? What are we saying? There's no document that is perfect. The 1999 Constitution has provided that these and these and these are the things that are supposed to be done. And we're not doing it. So it's not as a result of because there's no provisions in 1999 Constitution to cater for all we're asking. Take, for example, so many people look at the problem we have today. I want to call challenging the Federal Inland Revenue Service by the provisions of the Constitution of 1999 as amended. Value-added tax is not in the exclusive list. That is the provision of the Constitution. I was not a member of the Constitutional Assembly of the National Assembly to who amended the Constitution. But as a state, who's the unit of the Federation, and I said, look at what the law says. Look at what the law says. Can we implement the provisions of the Constitution? Today, what are we seeing? What is a result of? We are talking about ethnicity. We are talking about religion. And we're not talking about what has the provisions of the 1999 Constitution, what has it said? Now you see, this is a country where you call me people talk about religion, ethnicity, geography. Meanwhile, the Constitution has said this and this and this and this is what the federal government should do. This and this and this, the state government should do. Or what they call exclusive list, concurrent list, and residual list. So the problem is not whether, even if you rewrite the 1999 Constitution today, and you provide everything you want to provide, are we willing to implement the provisions of that Constitution? as we are seeing today in 1999 Constitution. So the problem is not 1999 Constitution, it is the implementation of the provisions of the 1999 Constitution. So if you like, make a document that will provide everything you want in heaven and earth. What is the problem is implementation. So the look, as Seun, so it is not what you provide, it is the implementation. They said 13% reservation. Now you ask them, are you implementing 13% reservation? So if you like, put everything. The problem is implementation.
I mean, there seems to be, in your own view, and we've seen the action of Rivers State, just like we saw in the Second Republic, where the Attorney General of Bender State versus the Attorney General of the Federation on the issues of appropriations. Rivers State has stood up against the federal government on some of the areas that it believes that the federal government was getting out of line and taking the case to court. In the area of VAT, in the area of the national purse, and the monies that are being given to the police. But are you of the view, or do you have the thinking that perhaps the federal government at its presently is right now is not really following the dictate of the Nigerian law, and that's why we see the River State government taking those kind of moves that you have taken under your administration?
Thank you, Seun. You know, it's unfortunate. Politics in Nigeria is such a thing that we try to, try to do things, and Nigerians are easy to buy into it. It's unfortunate. Now, what did the River State government do? We look at the 1999 Constitution. We look at the laws as guide this country. And we say, look, first of all, the police trust fund, under the Constitution of Nigeria, there are tiers of government that can benefit directly from the foundation account. And these are federal government, state government, and the local government. And this APC government went through their majority at the National Assembly, and after the Police Trust Fund, and Mr. President signed. And Mr. President signed. Right? Mr. President signed. Hello, so are you with me? Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Please go ahead. Yes,
I am with you. Now, Mr. President signed it. And we said, look, Mr. President, and we said, look, Mr. President, you are wrong. Under the law, police trust fund cannot be one of those beneficiaries that will take money from the foundation account.